Today I'm drawing Garou. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly from One Punch Man. Excuse me. Garou is a very good character to study because his poses always feel aggressive and powerful. I was saying in one of the shorts that he's always, not always, but like in a lot of the official art or fan art, he's usually in a martial arts pose. Um the first thing I'm doing, is identifying his overall gesture. A strong gesture creates a strong drawing, and he's a very gesture posy type person, right? Um, at I'm only focusing on large shapes and proportions. Once the foundation is established, I can start refining the anatomy. Obviously, foundation being skeleton, then the muscles over the skeleton. Skeleton stick figure with ball joints. The muscles are like bubbles around the skeleton in similar shape to what the limbs and parts of the body would be, not exact, but just general, the general shape before starting to draw everything exact over it based on the reference I'm looking at, trying to follow the reference, but not rooting everything into the structure as I'm drawing the actual character over it, then details later. Um, um, Once the foundation is established, I can start refining the anatomy. Now I'm moving into the torso and shoulders. It's not exactly where I am in the video. I'm just reading the script that I have and then expanding into different points. Right now in the video, I'm actually on the face and hair and eyes. I was talking about starting with the ear, and then I'd build up into some of the hair above the ear, and then some of the jaw and shit. Now nobody else needs to start there, but that's just a place I consistently start and have practiced and gotten repetitions to, and that's helped me keep the proportions of the face correct, and then build everything else out from there. Because, and this is a thing that I found helps me consistently get proportions correctly, especially in the face, and especially because I'm doing a lot of photos that are either mug shots or heavily faces, like heavily gonna be a thing, face and upper body, I should say. um so because it's and then if you're doing things that are mug shots or face shots or upper body shots, like the face, having the face correct is a major deal and can help everything else, help you position and structure everything else better around the face, as the face is probably going to be the focal point of the picture. So it's important that you have at least the proportions of that correct, so that you can place everything well around that. Because of me doing things from that standpoint, starting from at least one of the ears and then building out from there has helped me consistently get that correct, because I'm doing it in pen. If I wasn't doing it in pen, I wouldn't have to worry about not worry, I wouldn't have to even keep in mind the fact that I can't erase. So the fact that I can't erase means that for me to have these pictures look identifiably like the character that I'm using as a reference, and this is a character that you can look at, and if you know the show, you can identify them. The way I'm able to do that so well is not just because I practice to the point that I can actually have a better chance of drawing a character from a show that you can easily identify. It's not just because I'm practicing, but it's because I'm actually getting the proportions correct. If my proportions are much more off, it's probably going to be harder to identify them because they're not going to look the way they should, and I wouldn't be able to erase. So because I can't erase, I could still start at any point of the drawing, but just one thing I found, especially because I'll put it like this, I'm kind of overcomplicating this. The reason I started doing this thing where I start from the air and then build out from there, that was like that was my response to seeing that I was getting the proportions incorrect in the face so often that I was like, let me just start somewhere in the face. Let me just start like in the middle of the face and then start building the face out from like one. Let me take an ear, which is near the middle of the face, and build into the forehead and into the jaw and slowly build out the head from there and just make sure I get the head correct. Or make sure I start to build the head correctly so that I can make sure I'm getting the face correct, because I was just getting it so incorrect so many times, and I'm doing it in pen, can't erase. So um, it was really just a mechanism to actually force me to focus on the face first, literally, and then it just became a thing that I go to and do. But if you're not drawing in pen, you don't need to do something extreme like that. You can do whatever you want, even in pen. As a matter of fact, if I just started wherever I felt like starting, or maybe this on purpose decided to start at other points in the photo with pen, I eventually would have cleaned everything up. It might have taken a little bit longer though, uh, because I'm randomizing my approach, which means that I'm getting better at everything in general. But like, it's but the fact that I keep focusing on starting at the ear, making a lot more progress at making sure the face is correct every single time. So I improved that faces a lot faster because of that, right? And then obviously everything else as well, especially because these are pictures that are more centered around the face. And if you get the face correct, and like I said before, in a picture that's centered around the face, like the face is like the main focal point of it, if you get the proportions of the face correct, you're gonna be able to much easier get the rest of the everything else around it correct as well. So it's just me making sure that I got the face correct is where most of the leverage is in a lot of these drawings. That's where most of the leverage is for me to get everything else correct and actually improve at art in general, much faster, and also put out a drawing that's probably gonna appear better, because of the strategy that I'm using and just getting more repetitions at getting better at that, resulting in just better art. Um, roll on sentence, roll on sentence, roll on sentence. How much can I keep adding on to make the point? Here, let me just find where I was. So, upper body is important because it controls the direction and energy of the pose. As I build the arms, I'm thinking about how each muscle group connects. Um, okay. And the way I would also pay attention to that, obviously, is the stick finger underneath and trying to even follow that as a guideline. And even if I don't, the fact that is there, the fact that I'm following any of the stick figure as the guideline, it's forcing other parts of the body that I'm drawing over, after I've already drawn the skeleton and the muscles and everything else is sinking into place better, because at least I'm like, if I even, let's say I don't even get the chest, shoulders, and arms correct as I could, the fact that I tried to anchor the face and neck in first to where the circle skull and stick with the muscle over it neck, the fact that I tried to get that lined up caused me to do a better job lining up the chest and shoulders and trap muscles into the arms afterwards. And then because I'm getting so much better at lining up the chest and shoulders, um over the course of more drawings, it's causing me to do a better job even rooting the arms in eventually, because the face and neck and then the chest and shoulders is rooted in properly, or more properly, or even if it didn't even follow the skeleton, it was better rooted in general, because I'm like I keep saying, I'm repeatedly practicing rooting all these things together by trying to follow the skeleton structure I drew underneath all of it. And eventually, oh, yep, now the arms are looking like they're landing in place better. Hands are looking like they're landing in place better. Entire torso, and then all the way down the body until the point that I'm drawing a character that's more real, connected in a on a anatomic on a anatomy level, is the characters connected together more properly. So even if somebody who has a insanely good eye for seeing whether the anatomy that you drew in a character lines up properly for let's say in this world characters have specific types of body structures, and they're aware of that, and they look at the character and they were to grade like how correct you got it. If you were trying to draw this character the way that they would be presented according to the way the official art or the way the author draws these characters in this world, how accurately did you get the anatomy? Well, you see that they would grade if they were to grade a bunch of drawings over time that you drew while you're trying to do this, they see that your anatomy is literally getting better to the point where your anatomy gets to the point where it's exactly the way it should be. And then on top of that, they're just improving at just doing the art on top of the fact that the anatomy is just probably eventually just going to be completely correct. But it's an ongoing thing that you just build upon until you get to where specifically you are trying to get with that, right? The body is important because it controls the direction. Okay. One thing I've been practicing is drawing forms instead of outlines. That approach helps the character feel more three-dimensional. Now I'm refining the head shape and facial features. Garou's expression is a major part of what makes him recognizable. The eyes, eyebrows, and overall attitude need to feel intense. As the sketch develops, I'm checking proportions and connecting any areas that look off. Most drawings go through multiple correction stages before reaching the final version. Obviously, for mine, there's no correction stages. It's lighter lines was like the chance I had to actually draw it correct, and then darken the lines that will stay, obviously. If you have an eraser, you have unlimited chances, obviously. But if you are utilizing less chances, you're actually either just drawing at a higher level, which you force yourself to have to do through practice, and also giving yourself less chances to get it correct in general in the first place, or because it's in pen, you're very, very focused on trying to not even like overly trying, but like when you put your pen to the paper, you're very, very aware of what you're doing. And, just trying to be aware of what you're doing helps, obviously, right? But yeah, now I'm refining that head shape and facial features. Garou's expression is a major part of what makes him recognizable. The eyebrows and overall attitude need to feel intense. Okay. As the sketch develops, I'm checking proportions and correcting areas that look off. Most drawings go through multiple correction stages before reaching the final version. Now I'm adding the final structure and strengthening the important lines. I'm also clearing. Okay. I'm also cleaning up unnecessary marks to improve readability. Looking at the finished piece, I'm happiest with the pose and overall energy. The next thing I want to improve is pushing perspective and depth even further. Every sketch teaches something valuable. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next drawing video.